In the heart of Mount Olympus, where the gods reside under the shadows of their absolute power, an unending conflict began. Zeus, the king of the gods, was known for his insatiable desires and his quest to assert his authority not only over the heavens but also among mortals. From this passion, a tale was born that would forever alter the course of mythology. One night, under a sky glittering with stars like an ancient tapestry, Zeus fell in love with the mortal princess Alcmene. Her beauty was so captivating that Zeus couldn't resist her charm. Disguised as her husband, King Amphitryon, he visited her in her chamber. From this union, Hercules was born, a child imbued with the power of the gods but burdened with a human heart full of vulnerability. His mother, Alcmene, felt he was no ordinary child, sensing divine influence in his birth. But Hercules' birth stirred the wrath of the goddess Hera, Zeus' wife. Overwhelmed by jealousy, she vowed to turn Hercules' life into a series of endless trials and tribulations. Hera's anger knew no bounds. She attempted to kill Hercules as an infant by sending 2 massive serpents to his crib at night. When they slithered toward him, Hercules awoke, seized them in his tiny hands, and strangled them to death. This marked the first instance of his extraordinary strength. As Hercules grew up among mortals, he always felt different. His immense strength set him apart, making him a subject of both admiration and fear. In his youth, he trained in combat, horse riding, and archery, quickly becoming an unmatched warrior. However, his strength often proved to be as much a curse as it was a gift. During one tragic incident, a simple game with a friend ended in disaster when Hercules accidentally struck and killed him with a stone. The guilt from this event stayed with him for the rest of his life. As a young man, Hercules married Princess Megara and had 3 children with her. For a time, his life was idyllic, filled with peace and love. However, Hera's unrelenting hatred for him remained a shadow over his happiness. She cast a spell of madness upon him, and in a fit of insanity, he mistook his family for enemies. Consumed by rage, he killed his wife and children with his own hands. When the spell broke and he realized the horror of his actions, Hercules was devastated by guilt. The indomitable hero was brought to his knees by the weight of his own mistakes. In search of redemption, Hercules sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi. The oracle instructed him to serve King Eurystheus, who assigned him 12 seemingly impossible tasks, the 12 labors of Hercules, as a means of penance. In the valley of Nemea, a monstrous lion terrorized the locals. Its hide was impervious to all weapons, making it invincible to ordinary men. Hercules tracked the lion to its lair, a dark cave. When weapons failed him, he wrestled the beast with his bare hands, ultimately strangling it to death. He then skinned the lion with its own claws and used the hide as an impenetrable cloak. The swamp of Lerna was home to the Hydra, a serpentine creature with multiple heads. Each time a head was cut off, 2 more would grow in its place. Hercules, accompanied by his nephew Iolaus, confronted the Hydra. With each head he severed, Iolaus cauterized the necks with fire, preventing them from regenerating. Eventually, Hercules defeated the Hydra and dipped his arrows in its poisonous blood, enhancing their lethality. The sacred hind of Artemis had golden antlers and bronze hooves. It was swifter than any creature, making its capture a test of endurance and precision. Hercules pursued the hind for a year and finally wounded it slightly without killing it. He then carried it back to King Eurystheus, appeasing Artemis with his reverence for the creature. In the snow-covered peaks of Mount Erymanthus, a wild boar wreaked havoc on nearby villages. Braving harsh weather, Hercules tracked and subdued the beast, capturing it alive and bringing it to the king. King Augeas owned stables housing thousands of cattle. These stables had not been cleaned for decades, and the accumulated filth was overwhelming. Using his intellect, Hercules diverted the courses of 2 nearby rivers to wash out the stables in a single day. At Lake Stymphalos, carnivorous birds with metallic wings and beaks terrorized the region. With a rattle gifted by the goddess Athena, Hercules startled the birds into flight and shot them down with his poisoned arrows. On the island of Crete, a fire-breathing bull was causing destruction. Hercules wrestled and subdued the beast, bringing it back to Eurystheus. King Diomedes owned flesh-eating horses. Hercules fed the king to his own mares, taming them in the process. He then led the horses to Eurystheus. Queen Hippolyta of the Amazons possessed a magical girdle gifted by Ares. Initially willing to give it to Hercules, Hippolyta was manipulated by Hera into attacking him. Hercules was forced to kill the queen and take the girdle. Hercules faced Geryon, a giant with 3 bodies, to steal his cattle. After a fierce battle, he defeated Geryon and brought the cattle back to Eurystheus. The golden apples of the Hesperides were guarded by a sleepless dragon. With the help of the Titan Atlas, who briefly carried the sky for Hercules, he retrieved the apples and fulfilled the task. The final labor required Hercules to descend into the underworld and capture Cerberus, the 3-headed guardian of Hades. With permission from Hades, Hercules subdued Cerberus without using weapons and brought him to Eurystheus before returning him to the underworld. After completing his labors, Hercules married Deianira. However, tragedy struck again when the centaur Nessus tricked Deianira into using his poisoned blood, leading to Hercules' suffering and eventual death. As his mortal body burned on a funeral pyre, Hercules' spirit ascended to Olympus, where he was welcomed as a god. Even Hera forgave him, acknowledging his resilience and bravery. Hercules' legend is a timeless reminder of the struggle between strength and responsibility, love and suffering. Despite his trials, he remains the unbroken hero who transcended mortality to achieve eternal glory. Dear viewers, please engage with us by leaving objective feedback in the comments and suggesting topics you'd like to learn more about. And, of course, show your support by subscribing to the channel. Have an amazing day.